Hello, everyone. We've had a lot of announcements today, but since tomorrow is the last day of the month and it's ending on a Saturday, we thought we'd give you, a snapshot of where we're going to be economically in the state of West Virginia in the month of October. The first 3 months have been an incredible first quarter. You know that we started the year off with a $200 million cash surplus on our income tax dollars. Our first quarter, in addition to that, had I think it was 88 million, it was our surplus for the first quarter. The cash surplus, we'll talk about in just a second, but West Virginia, you just continue to do it. Right now, I've got Secretary Hardy with me, and we're going to announce, he'll go into way more detail. Again, I give so much credit to the hard work of our revenue department and all the great people that are working there. Mike Cook, Mark Mukow, all the great work that they do all the time, and all the people that are all around them. But I am very, very proud to announce that, we felt like when we went through the first 3 months the first quarter of the year that we built an $88 million surplus, and we thought, it could very well be that October is going to, hit into that surplus a little bit, and that'd be okay. That'd be okay because we've still got $200 million in the wings, and so that would be okay if October hit into it a little bit, but that's not the case. October is going to come in roughly, like I said, we've still got tomorrow and everything, but since it being on a Saturday, we wanted to go ahead and announce these numbers now, but October is coming in at $20.4 million above estimate, and the year-to-date collections in West Virginia are $1.59 billion, and we're roughly up now with a surplus for the first 4 months of the year of $110,800,000. That's 9.7% above prior year receipts. It is $141.5 million above. Cumulative collections are $141.5 million above estimates or above previous year or prior year receipts. Now, there's one other tidbit. Remember what I said about the monies that we got where we moved the income tax dollars into this year. We now have a cash balance in West Virginia. I mean, it is amazing. We have a cash balance in the state of West Virginia of $298 million. Now, with that, we will just be able to do more and more goodness, from everything to help all across the spectrum, whether it be the schools or the road or service and help to others in many, many ways. West Virginia is truly on the move, and we want to just keep it going that way. Like I said before, these numbers are somewhat preliminary, but only somewhat, because tomorrow is the 31st and on Saturday. Before I go any further, I want to just say this too. This is way off the subject, but there'll be a lot of youngsters and a lot of families enjoying trick-or-treat and Halloween tomorrow. We ask that you'll please take every precaution to protect those kids and to protect yourself. Wear your mask and absolutely just watch out in the roads. And from the standpoint of all of us being drivers, please take extra precaution and everything. We surely don't need a tragedy on our hands, especially in these tough times. But with all that, I could not possibly be any happier. If you look at whether it be CorporateNet or personal income tax, or it be, sales tax, or whatever it may be, all the way across the board, West Virginia is just kicking butt. West Virginia is doing it. And what we want to do is take this and go with it. Now, West Virginia, we laid this framework probably now years ago. And by years ago, I mean a couple years back. And absolutely, we got off and running. We went through last year with the pandemic and with moving the income tax dollar and ran across the finish line with a surplus. Are you kidding me? With a surplus. And now, here we are off and going again in West Virginia in a really, really positive way. And we are working with budgets that were the all-time high budgets. And so we're surpassing all-time highs. And so with all that being said, I mean, you just go back to 2019. 2019, we were $511 million above budget. What did we budget in the 2020 year? In the 2020 year, for all practical purposes, we took the record high of 2019 and let that be the budget. So we're working off of a record high budget, or dadgum near it, and we're greatly exceeding it, and greatly exceeding it in the worst of times with this pandemic all around us. So I congratulate all of you that are out there, the engines that are making this go. From our businesses to the people, we thank you so much. You're doing really great work. Just keep it going. I can never thank the revenue people enough. We meet and we meet and we meet and we project and we tweak and everything all the time. But boy, I love working with them because I am a numbers guy, and I love, love, love being with you, Dave, and Mark and Mike and all the people there. Great work. Great work. Appreciate you. I will pass the ball to you, sir.
All right, Governor. As you said, these numbers are preliminary in the strictest sense of the word, but they're about 99% to where they would be final. The only thing that's left is this is the last business day of October. All of our electronic fund transfers are in, and virtually all the large payments that come in now come by electronic. So the only thing we're waiting on are any paper checks that might come in and be counted on Monday, which would be November 2nd, and any preliminary accounting adjustments. So we're very, very pleased with these numbers. And as you said, Governor, you look at the numbers, but then you try to look behind the numbers as well. And that's what we try to do in the Revenue Department. We're 4/12 through the fiscal year, or 1/3. And the numbers that we look at, and we always study them because they're an indication of West Virginia's economy and how it's doing, and that's the personal income tax number and the consumer sales tax number. Those two revenue sources are 77% of the state's general revenue. So just those two things alone have a tremendous impact on our numbers. And to get numbers this well and this good, you have to have healthy consumer sales tax and personal income tax. Our consumer sales tax number rose 6% in October. That's October to 2020 compared to October 2019, which is just remarkable considering that we're in the middle of a century, once every century pandemic. They rose 6% from last October, and cumulatively for the 4/12 or 1/3 of the fiscal year that we're in, we're at 6.1% above prior year receipts. So we've gone through 4 months of this fiscal year in the middle of this pandemic, and still our consumer sales tax, which is very, very important to the state's revenue, is up 6.1% for the year, 6% for the month of October. So that's very consistent. Our personal income tax numbers, they rose they were up by $30.4 million above estimate for the cumulative year and 17% ahead of last year. So you can see again that our personal income tax number is treading in the positive direction, is 17% ahead of last year, 1/3 of the way through the fiscal year. Other numbers that we look at that are so important, our corporate net income tax collections were $5.5 million above estimate for the month of October, and they are up by a substantial number But they were 116 million year to date compared to 63.9 million on the same date last year, which makes them 48.8 million above estimate. Severance tax, there's always been a lot of volatility in our severance tax number because it's so tied to our coal and natural gas markets. We were very encouraged that in October, our severance tax numbers were 10.6 million, and they were therefore 12.2 million above estimate for the year to date. So that was very encouraging too, Governor, and I think that indicates that there is some recovery in our severance tax collections. Insurance premium tax, it was a little bit lower, and that's because the lower auto insurance rates associated with less road traffic. The insurance companies have actually cut the insurance tax amount slightly. But that's still great news for West Virginians, and that number was 30.1 million. So as we sit here today, 1/3 of the way through the fiscal year, we couldn't be happier with these numbers, and I'm happy that the people of West Virginia have had the benefit of the leadership of the governor and the good fortune that we've had from that leadership to be in the position we're in today. So we're looking forward to closing the books on Monday, November 2nd, and we could not be happier with where we are today, particularly with the consumer sales tax number, which is a very healthy, as I said earlier, 6% more than it was a year ago. And you can imagine a year ago, we certainly didn't envision anything that we're dealing with today. So with that, Governor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, Secretary Hardy is such a good man, and he's done such a good job. I mean, there's so many people that deserve so much credit. You know, I think of our auditor, J.B. McCuskey, and you know, I think of our treasurer, John Perdue. I think of all the people that are some way tied, you know, to the financial ends of what we're doing. All of our legislature, all of our bodies on the Senate and the House side, so many people have absolutely put in so many good licks. You know, I don't say this egotistically, but we needed a coach. We needed somebody that had a really creative, you know, mind and passion that would really push our people just a little bit. They're so good, you know, but this is really great stuff. Now let me just say just this, and I'm saying this to all of our media. What is the primary responsibility of my job? You know, naturally, I'm here to try to guide us through the pandemic. I'm here to console and be with those from time to time that have lost loved ones and surely show that they're not alone in this fight, and that there's all of our state is with them. You know, I'm here. I should be here to try to come up with ideas that help our elderly and help our sick and help our veterans and on and on and on. And we've done all that. But the number one responsibility that I should have as your governor is to look after the economics of the state of West Virginia. If the economics of the state of West Virginia don't run well, then we can't do anything. Nothing. That's all there is to it. We know how that feels. I mean, before I walked in the door here, all we could do was cut or draw from the rainy day fund. We couldn't do anything. We didn't have such a thing as a pay raise or a road fixed or on and on and on. We didn't have that. That luxury comes with good management and good economics. That's why I would say, I would hope and pray that the number one thing in at least the days to come at some point in time should be from our media that they should step up. Report this goodness. Report how we're doing. It is infectious across the land. Without any question, our biggest accomplishments are that the health of our economics is great in this state. Not kind of good, it's great. And it's just getting better and better and better. And as the health of the economics is good, we can do all kinds of great stuff for the people of this state. So with that, I really mean it when I say that I sincerely thank all West Virginians, all businesses. This time has been really tough, really tough. Lots and lots and lots of businesses have taken a cannonball right to the stomach. Lots of workers have lost their jobs for no fault of their own at all, and still don't have anywhere to turn to maybe. Well, I promise you we will stay with you. We will stay there and try with all in us to help you. But absolutely, to those great businesses and great workers in West Virginia, man, you have done one whale of a job. That's all there is to it. You just keep at it. We'll keep sending stuff your way. And the more and more goodness that we can do, the better off all of us in West Virginia are going to be. And without any question now, you have not maybe become, you have not possibly become, you have not hopefully become, you are the diamond in the rough that everybody's missed. You are the envy of this nation in many ways. Just think. All you got to do is just think about one thing. 4 of the most beautiful seasons on the planet. Tourism is exploding in this state. Our state parks are repaired. All that's, you can't even get a cabin in this state. You know, you are waitlisted for almost a year. You know, you just think about all the different things, but you have 4 of the most beautiful seasons. You are located so close to 2/3 of the people in this country that absolutely are the market. You abound in natural resources beyond belief, in coal, oil, gas, timber, water. You know, it is unbelievable. And you are the people, the fabric of this country. The fabric that became faith-based, low crime, craftsmen, the very things that people never would have believed. And now, all of a sudden, they recognize all of this. And they're coming. They're coming. The opportunities for jobs, the opportunities for betterment of who we are is right at our doorstep. And it just keeps on coming. So really and truly, to me, there is no story. There is no story other than this dreaded pandemic, which is a tragedy. But there's no story that's much bigger than really and truly the economic recovery of this state and this state's, perpetual, future with the economics of this state moving where they are. Again, thanks everybody, and sorry we can't be in person. It's a big, big, big day. And so thank you again.